Okay, welcome everybody to January 20th, 2026 Youth Commission meeting. I would like to start off by calling the meeting to order. I would like to welcome Commissioners Matua, Commissioner Bumanglag, Cruz, Paya? Johnson, I'm so sorry. Lee, Chung, I'm so bad with last names. Paia, oh my gosh. Vader, Shay, and more. Yeah, that's it. And then me. Okay, and then members of the public will be allowed to provide oral testimony in person. In-person oral testimony will be allowed when the agenda item is taken up. As both English and Hawaiian are official languages of the state of Hawaii, pursuant to Article XV, I'm bad with Roman numerals, so Section 4 of the Hawaii State Constitution and Section 1-13 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes. Members of the public are allowed to, members of the public may testify in either language. For all testimonies offered in Olelo, Hawaii, additional time as may be necessary will be allowed for the testifier to provide an English translation of their testimony. Before testifying, each person shall state their name. Each speaker may have anyone else read their statement and is limited to a 2-minute presentation on each item. Okay, moving on to agenda item 2 now, the approval of minutes for the December 19th, 2025 meeting.
I move that the minutes of the December 19th, 2025 meeting be approved. Anyone second?
One second, yep.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any in-person or remote testifiers on this item? Are there any objections or corrections? Seeing no objections, the minutes of the December 2025 meeting are approved. Moving on to agenda item 3, public testimony. Do we have any public testimony? Seeing none, we will move on. And now to agenda item 4, presentations. First up is a presentation from the Hanalani Schools, Chelsea Pong and Monica Lam. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I can share.
Good afternoon, I'm Chelsea Pong. My name is Monica Lung, and we are the co-founders of Truth Over Trends. Truth Over Trends aims to talk about a problem that is pressing and prevalent within our generation. Social media continues to grow and play a large role in our lives. As this continues, we recognize there are many benefits, but would also like to address the negative aspects to this. So what does the research show us? Up to 95% of youth ages 13 through 17 report using a social media platform, with more than a third saying they use social media almost constantly. Furthermore, a study of US adolescents aged 12 through 15 found that those who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media face double the risk of experiencing poor mental health outcomes, including symptoms of depression and anxiety. Now, it's important to recognize that when you are of the ages 10 through 19, your brain is undergoing a sensitive time of development. This makes you more susceptible to these issues.
Now that we've gone over some of the statistics, Monica and myself wanted to share some of our personal experiences with social media and mental health. As a young teen, I struggled with my mental health, and my parents were supportive. They put me on a therapy wait list, the consultation, and that lasted for 3 months. And that might not seem like a whole lot of time, but during that time, I was completely confused. I had no professional guidance, and I didn't understand the effects that mental health could have on my life, and also the effects and influences that could affect my mental health overall. And I turned to social media, and I received a lot of misinformation that only added to my confusion. And when I was seen, I was diagnosed with anxiety and mild depression, but now that I've healed, Monica and myself want to bring light to this issue that is prevalent but not yet prioritized.
Furthermore, when I was in middle school, I found myself surrounded by many people claiming openly that they suffered with mental illness without even realizing the weight that this title holds. Now, soon my media became filtered on all this harmful content. And this, coupled with the lack of guidance that we all had at this time, just really led to the glamorization and the normalization of mental illness in my community. So now that today I am more equipped with the knowledge and understanding of mental illness and the weight it means to hold this title, I've made it my personal goal to prevent this from happening to future generations. So let's talk more about social media's role on mental health. Don't just take our word for it. A study was shown that over 50% of the top 100 trending TikTok videos under the hashtag mental health tips contain information. I, for one, use TikTok all the time. I know a lot of my peers do, so it's really troubling to see this large percentage online. Here are some examples. There are some videos saying different signs of depression, that you only sit in dark places, you can't sleep, you always stay up late. And while there may be some truth to this, it's really easy to see how people can get carried away with what they're feeling, tying it to this type of content. Furthermore, the one on this side says, "Why am I like this?" When you're just always surrounded by this type of media, it's like really easy to just get caught in this. So let's move on to who are we. We are a student-led movement dedicated to empowering youth to develop mental health literacy, fostering informed conversation, and peer support.
And next, our vision. We've envisioned a future where teens understand mental health with clarity and approach one another with knowledge and compassion. And before we move on, we want to address what mental health literacy is. It's the knowledge and skills to be able to recognize, manage, and prevent mental health issues in yourself and in others.
So how will we implement mental health literacy through our project? Well, we've taken our goals and divided it into three main categories: awareness, prevention, and empowerment. Awareness begins with bringing light to the issue, raising awareness of the harmful aspects of social media, allowing others to see the problem as we recognize it to be. Prevention is actively spreading reliable information, research-backed information. This could be through physical posters, or it could be social media posts online. Empowerment includes encouraging mental health literacy among youth and empowering our peers to actively combat the spread of misinformation.
So next, our progress and plans. So let's start with progress. We've created our own Truth Over Trends Club at our school, Honolulu, where we both currently attend, and we have 11 plus students of interest, which is a currently growing number. And we've also grown our social media account and made several posts addressing our concerns and spreading reliable, heavily researched information from resources like the National Library of Medicine. And we've also reached out to several schools and found several students who are willing to start their own Truth Over Trends clubs at their schools or are willing to spread awareness about the topic. And our current plans. We want to build a strong foundation of students and spread the issue and movement. We also aim to execute service projects related to this topic and possibly invite guest speakers to address our Truth Over Trends team and our members. And we would also like to consistently continue posting and bringing more attention to this issue through online presence. And finally, our request to the Honolulu Youth Commission. First, we want to ask you to consider spreading awareness and recognizing the need for mental health literacy among young adults. It's something that's prevalent but not prioritized. So we urge you to consider and prioritize this in future discussions and deliberations. And secondly, if possible, we would ask for connection to other students, groups, or contacts that may be interested in supporting our movement. This includes people like medical professionals, professionals in general, speakers, and students or student leaders.
These are the sources backing up our claims. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you again. Are there any questions? Alani?
Oh, are we able to get your guys' contact information?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think a really good opportunity that's also coming up, and thank you so much for your presentation, and it's also extremely relevant because the Board of Education is also meeting up on February 12th to kind of decide the implementation of a no phone ban policy in schools. Because currently, I think around, correct me if I'm wrong, like 85% of schools have like a no phone ban policy, but the issue is in regards to a uniform policy. And that's kind of what they're trying to decide in terms of implementation in February. And it kind of relates back to, to like mental health and also misinformation. So kind of just wanted to like put that out there because like besides being on the Youth Commission, I'm also part of this other organization called the Center for Tomorrow's Leaders. And we're also kind of working on something similar too. So I'd love to connect with you guys after the meeting.
Yeah, that was something that we also partook in, Center for Tomorrow's Leaders. So
Oh,
we'll
that's
be sure
cool.
to give you our contact information.
Oh, okay.
afterwards. Thank you so much.
You guys talked about like different types of service projects. Do you guys like have any ideas or have you like carried out any recently?
We haven't carried any out yet. However, I recently joined She's in Office, and they're part of Letters to Women, which write letters to people in shelters and those who need support. So that's something we'd love to reach out with in the future. And we recognize that it may be hard for all these schools to find so many mental health related service projects. So if there ever becomes a time where we can't find things like that, we're happy to just make a positive impact in our community as well.
This isn't a question, but more like a suggestion maybe. Us as a youth commission, and also you can collaborate on social media. Like you could create like reels similar to how Commissioner Chung did Break the Cycle, and we can collaborate with your platform so we can spread awareness, and that can help you like increase your mission and vision.
That would be amazing. Thank you for that.
So I have a question. Is there anything you think could be enacted by the city that could help teach the schools or teach young people about mental health?
When we came here, we didn't exactly know what the Honolulu Youth Commission could do legislatively, but now that we're here and we've had the suggestion, it's an amazing opportunity that we'd like to take a part of and enact in the future, and maybe also bringing in guest speakers, if allowed to, in schools and to other places to spread about social media misinformation and maybe about the topic of mental health for youth in general and how prevalent it is in today.
Thank you. Yeah. And again, any other questions from the other commissioners or anyone online? Hearing none. Thank you again, Monica and Chelsea, and we'll get in touch with you. Sorry, there it is. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Amiana.
I was going to ask, I noticed that you guys had a few different schools that are already involved, if not willing to join your initiative. I was curious as to if you guys were looking to do maybe a cross-school collaboration or what you had in mind with the several schools that you have interested thus far.
That's something we were interested in. We were planning on having each school start their own chapter online, post social media posts and posters related to what they thought was important regarding the misinformation of mental health. So something I was interested in, it was how music sort of enables us sometimes when we're at a dark time in our lives and just we constantly listen to negative things, is something they would be able to just partake in what they thought was important. And we would like to have just a Truth Over Trends wide, like you said, cross-school, a project that we would all partake in together. It would also be something we were interested in, if that answers your question.
Yeah, for sure. And then I had one more. Also, I wanted to say that you guys did a really great job on your presentation. No bias, Chelsea. I was going to ask as well if you think that there's any way that civic engagement or voting might connect to the way that we spread mental health awareness throughout Oahu.
Definitely, that is something that we've definitely considered, especially coming here today. And we've had suggestions from everywhere, and with the legislation, we think that a lot of this could be implemented into today's education, and it may be a long and lengthy process, but we're willing to go through it, and we're willing to stick with our topic. If that answers your question. Wherever you are.
Yes, thank you.
Can I ask? Did you guys ever reach out to any colleges?
We have
Because so I go to HBU and I would love to get into contact with you to sorry, oh my gosh,
no worries.
to start
a club or something online with the HBU students, because when I go to school, I hear a lot about how they see stuff on social media and they get really depressed and inside of their heads, and a lot of the students do that. So we try to go to like the therapist that we have on hand on staff, but sometimes it doesn't really help. But if you would love
Yeah, we would love to do that with you guys. Just anything, we're open to anything. We really just want to spread what we believe in and what we believe is just such an important issue. As you know, as social media and like technology continues to advance, we believe this is something that's really important, especially for generations to come. So thank you for that.
Oh, yes.
How are you guys currently trying to advertise or trying to spread out your mission and trying to increase chapters at schools?
For me, we manage mainly through our social media account, and I was reaching out to my friends who go to other schools who may have some interest in things regarding like medicine or psychology, things like that. And that's really been our main way of branching out. For me, at least, was the main way that I've been spreading word.
Also, with starting new chapters, we've also wanted to create our own chapter at our school, and we've garnered interest through various grades, various groups of people, and it's really great how I think that we've been able to unite various groups within our school, and just being able to reach out to other schools and other people of interest. And I think what she said was really
just like another like point of suggestion or something, because I do think that this is really important, especially as, you know, our society is constantly depending on social media. I think like a lot of people our age have problems with coping and things like that. And so I think it would be really inspiring if you guys gave like talks maybe to like shelters or places where teenagers don't have a home, or like foster cares or group homes, and you guys actually like became like the therapist for them, you know, because just hearing this, you know, will inspire them to, you know, move forward. And as you said, there's like a like a decrease in therapy, you know, too. It's really hard to be able to find these resources, especially with people who maybe don't have insurance. So just being able to give these talks and things like that, you know, to like homes like that, you know, where parents don't even have.
It's actually really interesting that it's something we never really thought about. So I'm actually really glad you brought that.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, and although that we can't give professional health information as we're only teenagers, but being able to
Just be a support system.
Yeah, and being able to refer to reliable mental health resources would be a really great opportunity.
Do you guys have like a specific outcome that you want? Like, would you want kids to use social media for like a less amount of hours, or is it to like mainly raise awareness around mental health literacy, or are you guys trying to spread like correct information about like mental health? I was just wondering if you had like a specific target, or if you guys kind of focus on a bunch of different things.
So it's kind of a mix of what you said. We do want to refer to professional health information. And what we really wanted to do is we want to promote each individual and spread awareness about mental health literacy, and just having people as individuals being able to deliberate it themselves and recognize the effects that mental health and influences on mental health could have, and being able to make those decisions and be aware of it themselves to better protect themselves and spread it to others.
Yeah, and to add on to that, our goal as of now is really to spread awareness and to spread this to other schools, to like bring light to this issue like we said before, so people understand what's happening and have proper guidance and understanding, so that in the future, if things are happening, people don't just turn to social media and look at what social media is telling them and their symptoms and are like, that's what I have, that's who I am. We want people to be able to, like we said before, build mental health literacy, go online and be able to recognize what they are feeling and just discern misinformation online.
This is just to share, but if you wanted to share with any youth or foster kids, I would suggest to go to Harvest Family Hawaii. They're an organization that helps RCGs or resource caregivers to foster like any children, and they they're really nice pastors, and they would love to have people like you to share to the children about how mental health is important. Another organization is Wisdom Circles Oceania. They're a mental health organization. I did some internships with them. They're mainly based on art therapy, but it's a good way to get involved with more teens and also the middle schoolers and some little kids to share so that they can grow up with this mindset.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the commissioners? I got one last question. What do you think of like a social media ban per se for kids under 13? Would that be something that could be a benefit?
I would say for me personally, I feel like social media does have these negative impacts that we've addressed. I feel like banning social media might not necessarily be the right. I'm not very well addressed on banning social media, but I do know that some people have talked about social media being a good place of communication to actually even reaching out to people who are experiencing the same things that they are experiencing, or just finding a support system when if socially they cannot make these connections. Social media is also a place that people are able to make those connections, and it's important to know that social media has negative, positive effects. I'm not the most well-informed on it, but that's just my personal take on it.
For me personally, I would say that the social media ban, I think that some of those exist among platforms like Instagram, TikTok, but there's many ways to bypass it, and sometimes there's a lot of ways to bypass it for a lot of youth, and I think that despite bans, it may be possible for youth to be able to get around this, and I think connecting with our initiative is really important to just have that mental health information and to be able to be aware of what the effects of social media could affect to young teens' mental health. So, yeah.
Great, thank you,
Thank
Chelsea
you.
and Monica, and thank you again, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, is there any testimony? Hearing none. We will be moving on to a presentation by Ryan Wilson from the Office of the Mayor.
Okay, let me set this up really quick. Okay. I'm gonna get to my recap really quick of what has happened in the last month or so. Okay, so we had a couple major events in January thus far, and in late December as well. So Kurt Lager was sworn in as the first Honolulu Ocean Safety Division Chief. So that was the Honolulu Ocean Safety Commission chose him after a rigorous process of doing interviews and stuff like that. It's historic because the commission it's the first time it was formed to actually hire this person to run it. So it's like the same kind of model as HPD and as HFD, etc. Okay. Dr. Kealoha Fox from the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency is now the official director. She was sworn in there. She had been deputy director. Now she's looking for a deputy director, which is the second in charge in that office. A new UV disinfectant device was installed at the Kailua wastewater treatment plant, which is a big deal, especially for that community. Obviously, all communities around Oahu are very environmentally sensitive, and this was a major initiative because they were able to install this stuff. It's going to make sure that the wastewater that goes out and is discharged way out in the ocean is cleaner than it was before. Campbell football team was honored because they won the state championship for football. There's construction going on at the Waianae police station, which is a big deal because now police officers are going to be able to do more of their work there instead of having to drive all the way to Kapolei, which means more police officers in that community, which the community wants and needs. Kalihi and Kapolei, they're going to see some new housing getting developed by the Department of Housing and Land Management. Obviously, big issue, affordable housing. Punahou Square has a new dog park, which is exciting. If you guys didn't see it down here, there is a new exhibit for Mu'umu'u, and it's really cool and beautiful. I would, if you just scan through it for 5 minutes, it's really awesome to see. That is being put on by Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts. HPD now has a school resource officer pilot program at Waianae, Kapolei, and Kaimuki high schools. That's a major development because now there are police officers in the school providing additional protection and safety there. And I'm gonna play now something for you guys. This is something that Mayor played at the December cabinet meeting. And then right afterward, I'm gonna kind of summarize a little bit about it and what it means looking ahead and what that means for the mayor and his expectations of the cabinet and the leadership team. Okay, so I'm gonna play this quick video for you guys. And by quick, it's gonna be about 10 minutes long.
10 minutes.
That's rare.
It's a tragic way to start off the new year. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to our first responders, law enforcement officers, and emergency personnel who work tirelessly to assist those in need.
The team, again, EMS, working with police and the fire department, were there to save lives, and they did save lives.
Firefighter 1, Jeffrey Fiala, Engine 9, 2nd Platoon. This is fire dispatch. Final call, final call. Return to Engine 9.
I be solemnly swear of this team, at this moment in time, there's no challenge too big, no task too small, and obstacles that we cannot overcome together. Constitution belongs to the United States of America.
The housing plan that we just released last Friday is the boldest initiative that the city has undertaken to address our affordable housing crisis in over 25 years.
It will be for our family members, our friends.
Nexus between transportation and art, we hope to just see that blossom with the hands and the minds and really the spirits of our local artists and our local communities.
I am grateful to be a part of this diverse and vibrant community.
Looks like the Chiefs, come on!
We're focusing on priorities as well as areas of government service that are really important to us, like public service, public health.
For the first time in years, our people have hope. They believe in this place. For what it is, and for what it can be.
Welcome to the first meeting of the 2025-2026 Charter Commission.
People who sign up for H&O Alert will be more informed faster.
This solar PV project exemplifies how infrastructure and innovation can work hand in hand to support the city's sustainability goals.
And what you see here is just one of the most amazing, beautiful places on Oahu.
It's about getting the respect that this field deserves and the history and the lore of America's pastime.
most of all, I'm thankful for all our EMTs and paramedics who are going to work in these ambulances and life-saving work that they do.
To approach these video games throughout the island.
If you don't give kids something to do, they're going to do something anyway, and we want them doing positive, pro-social things.
The next generation, and each one of them, giving that aloha and sharing the aloha spirit, it'll be lost, and this place will, just become anywhere else.
Right now, it's an easy thing. Get away from the beaches, get inland, and get upward.
We look forward to redeveloping this space into something that will strengthen HPD for years to come.
My impressions and my respect for the men and women who serve our country and what they're willing to put on the line could not be any more profound. We're here to make sure that this event, which we think will be a great event, is done efficiently and most importantly, it respects the public health and safety of the attendees and the local community.
We're so excited for this upgrade that modernizes the operations, saves money, provides shade for our guests, and makes people feel good about using this iconic recreational facility. This fertile land is woven into the rich history of Kanakamali, Native Hawaiians, the stories of immigrants who came here to start a new life, and our generation's farmers who carry on that legacy.
These new stops, Pearl Harbor, the airport, the Boone Drive, and Middle Street Transit Center, finally bring Skyline to places filled with activity, people, and jobs, making the system more relevant, more useful, and more connected than ever before.
This morning, as we raise the flag of the Philippines, we do so with deep pride and gratitude.
changing the narrative from Kahe to Kaena. Crime is down and we'll keep working on it. I'm pledging the resources of my office to try to make this happen.
DAT has gone through great lengths to make it as easy as possible for our residents to report issues using this app.
Okay guys, I want to show you that because there is so much stuff that goes on within the city within a single year, and that's just like a small amount of it. But the more important thing being that almost every one of those I could envision the Youth Commission somehow being involved with. Whether it's like a resolution in support of this initiative or this program, or you guys actually going out there and like helping out in some way or volunteering or just being at the actual event. I mean, a couple of them that pop to mind is the Be Safe, Be Seen thing for kids at Halloween. Oh my god, I mean like almost every one of those things. And it's just so exciting to see that. So what we want you to do, and what Mayor's message to Cabinet was after that clip, and also in the first Cabinet meeting, is that he is going to challenge everyone to do more. There's challenges that are here, but he has confidence in the team to push ahead. Okay, and that same message translates to all of you, because you guys have a really important role and you have a lot of influence, and we can really make cool things happen. So your guys' responsibility is to go out and do this kind of stuff, support it in whatever ways that you can, and share the voice of the youth of Honolulu. Okay, so that's all I've got, and then let you guys take over from here.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Good job with the video. Did you put that together? No.
I did.
Yeah. Had a feeling. Okay. Is there any questions by chance for the Abriana question? Okay. So we'll be moving on now to agenda item 5, reports from committees and the permitted interaction groups. Let's begin with the environment PAG. Any updates? I know Asa's not here today, but
So we met this month and we briefly talked about possible guest speakers. Our Commissioner Tan mentioned the Hawaii State Students Council legislators, and then we briefly went over the park bench resolution that I'll be presenting today. We kind of chose a main focus on increasing funding and staffing for the resolution, and then kind of the main thing we talked about was a food drive. We were thinking of ways to execute this food drive through working with a nonprofit organization like the Hawaii Food Bank, or working with smaller partners like Bayview Chapel, Key Project, Anchor Church, etc. And then as for the location for collection, we were thinking either Honolulu Hale or Kapolei Hale. And then we also did go ahead and choose some dates. We're thinking about a 1 to 2 week window for the collection of items. Some of the dates we had in mind were Monday, March 9th, Monday, March 16th, or the last week of May, or June 1st. and the dates will be throughout like the workday. And then we want to create a flyer closer to the date by contacting the design people, and then we also want to collaborate with the outreach PIG to promote the event.
Okay, thank you. Is there any testimony or questions? Now to a report from the Affordable Housing PAG.
Yes, I think we met once this past month. We kind of just discussed like a little bit more about definition that we're trying to think of for affordable housing, and included about like buying a house, like include that in our definition because we haven't really thought of that before, I guess. And then we're also trying to have like guest speakers come in to talk to our PIG, as well as like groups of like pairs of us going out to like talk to people in like affordable housing communities to see what it's like living there and other such things. Yeah, that's kind of all for affordable housing, unless anyone else has something to add on.
Thank you, Kalina. Then any questions? Okay. So, and then now to a report from the outreach PAG.
We met like twice this month. We were going over a newsletter draft that we were given from Holly and Ryan. Yeah, we were kind of just giving feedback on it to see like how we can like improve it before we send it out to everyone. And I think we're happy with how we have it now. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Moving on to the civic engagement PAG. Any updates?
Yes, we met twice in this past month. The first thing that we discussed was how we wanted to engage with creating more voting awareness and more voting engagement, I suppose, throughout the island. So we came up with two ideas. We wanted to do something that was social media based to engage with the youth online, and then we wanted to do something that was a little bit more concrete, maybe in person. So for our social media plan, we are each creating interview structures, and we have started drafting our scripts and who we plan to interview. We're looking at different members who are engaged with civic engagement already in our communities, particularly targeting youth leaders in the space. So, yeah, and then we would have these interviews posted as segments on our Instagram, preferably, to spread awareness about what voting engagement is, why it's important, and kind of looking at voting from a different lens in terms of what these different individuals whom we interview specialize in. In terms of our concrete idea, there is actually a resolution that is expected to be put into legislation by a legislator that Commissioner Jethro knows. Sorry. And we had discussed that we thought that it would be a good idea to send in written testimony, possibly after reviewing it as a commission and discussing it as a whole to see if that's something that we'd be in favor of. This way, we can get engaged with voting that way as well. Another way that we wanted to show concrete voting engagement was possibly in alignment with Dom's initiative, because we know that he had a voting initiative that he was working on and that he seems really committed to. And so we thought, as a PIG for civic engagement, if he needed additional in-person support for that event, whenever that day comes for the voting engagement, whether it's a booth or an education event, whatever it may be, we would like to collaborate and provide hands-on support for that as well. And then we also discussed our next guest speaker, and I'll be reaching out to the ALA Girls State Hawaii team to see if they can speak to our PIG to give us a little bit more information on civic engagement from a different perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Moore. Moving on to the education PAG.
So we met once this past month, and we were talking about some possible resolutions. For example, Commissioner Padilla was suggesting a mental health support system, like more access to social workers or funding of wellness rooms. We also talked about potential guest speakers for PAG. For example, those from the Hawaii State Youth Commission, as well as the Hawaii State Student Council and the Kanu Ambassador Program. So we drafted email templates and we're hoping to reach out to them. We were also talking about a farm to school initiative. So we identified the issue that farmers are having difficulties with paperwork and cost of safety certification, so they can grow foods for schools. And some ideas that Commissioner Rader suggested were like a fundraiser or a resolution. And then we were also thinking of the possibility of presenting to schools or just youth organizations to show like who we are and also identify issues in education. And then
Thank you, Bella. Okay, moving on to the budget PAG.
No updates, we still haven't met yet.
That's great, thank you. Ryan, we're missing the disaster preparedness PAG.
I'm sorry?
The disaster.
We'll just do it.
We can do it, okay. Great.
Yeah, so disaster preparedness PIG met earlier this month, and we kind of just talked about narrowing down like logistics for our meetings, deciding guest speakers, and also priorities that our PIG wants to work on. And we've kind of just broken it down based on like hands-on youth engagement, policy and resource advocacy, and youth disaster education. And Commissioner Moore and I were also meeting with someone from the Hawaii State Youth Commission to talk more about disaster education on Thursday.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for your updates. We're now moving on to agenda item 6. Six, yeah. Unfinished business. We start with a social media update. Second Vice Chair Shea.
Yeah, we had 94.9K views this past month. And we had 1.7K interactions, 33 new followers, and we shared 5 pieces of content. I think majority of the reasons why it's so high is because there's a post that we shared about like summer jobs that I think was shared with like multiple different accounts, so it was shared across all different like followers, so then everyone saw it. Yeah, that's kind of why it's so high.
Okay, so I have a question. I know last meeting we approved that we're going to get verified, and I looked at it recently, we weren't verified. Is there a reason why?
I think it's a wait list, right?
Yeah, there's a process. I just checked up on it again today, and because I applied for it actually twice, and I just haven't heard anything back. So today I was like, okay, where are we in this process? So I may have missed a step along the way because there's a multi-factor thing you have to do with like Facebook and stuff like that. So that could be what the issue is, but I'm still gonna get it resolved. Yeah.
Wait, so you said there's something that you have to do with like Facebook or something, so does that mean we do have a Facebook page?
Well, that's the question. I don't think we have a Facebook page, so I might have to create a Facebook page so that we have the Facebook page and the Instagram page so we have the meta thing. But I'm not 100% certain. I just don't know why we haven't heard back yet.
There's like different things, and I think we have to have each of them checked.
Yeah, exactly. It's there's some complexity to it.
Yeah.
But also I wanted to say, relating to social media updates, I am gonna ask all of you to provide regularly something for social media. So Commissioner Chung did a really cool series with ENV. It doesn't need to be that complex. That was great what she did. But if you have something that is like that, I want you to do it. But it can be something as simple as saying, okay, hey, I want to support the summer fun jobs. Okay, and here's the opportunity, and here's where you can go sign up. And it can be literally 10 seconds, just of you doing a selfie, doing that, and then we can post something like that. But I'm going to ask each one of you for one item per week from here on out on like a cyclical basis. So we'll get, one post per person for 15 weeks, and then we start all over again. So whatever that topic is that you want to talk about, I mean, it can be something that's close to your heart, or it can be a program that we have within the city, or it can be notifying people about voting, whatever it is. Just let's kind of get you guys involved a little bit more often so that we create more content for our social media pages.
Oh, at the last meeting, Commissioner Chung had mentioned like a posting schedule. Like I understand that's like a different context, but I think I really liked how she mentioned like a posting schedule, and I think it could also be helpful here, just so there's also not an overlap of like themes or things that we do too, so we can all kind of like coordinate maybe.
Sure, yeah. If you guys want, if the outreach PIG wants to establish some kind of a
Like a
schedule,
running Google Doc or something.
yeah,
like that.
that'd be great. If you guys want to do that, do it. And then you can kind of coordinate who's doing what topic at what time, if that's something you decide that you want to do.
I think considering here on out, like, because you want us to do weekly posts, we could also do like a monthly meeting recap, because maybe people may not understand, or no, sorry, not understand, but they may not know what we're doing, and maybe social media and having something permanent on social media would make people want to come to our meetings and make them seem more engaged.
I think that's a really, really good idea. And then you can talk about the resolutions and what they mean. I think that's really smart.
Great. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you, Ryan. Now we're moving on to agenda item 6 on a HYC voting initiative proposal. I believe we're still in the planning stage. We don't have like a solid plan right now, but I guess this adoption is to adopt a voting initiative that will focus on for the upcoming election this year. So I guess I move that we adopt a voting initiative for the election year 2026. This is just a commitment kind of thing. Does anyone second?
I'll check it.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any testimony? Seeing none. Commissioners, we are in discussion. I guess I'll start off. I'm still putting together the plan. I was thinking of shelving it for this month and having a more detailed presentation for February's meeting. I will work with Abiana and I guess the Civic Engagement PAG, since you're open to that, Commissioner Moore. So thank you. And then we'll try to get something together to present in February. Unless there's anyone had any ideas in the past month about any type of voting idea or initiative or plan or something we could do, then please.
I know you had mentioned
Yes.
a bunch of different locations around the island, and I was wondering like if you wanted to do booths or something, just because I remember that this was something that was brought up last meeting. So I wasn't sure if you wanted to build upon that foundation or if you plan to create something new.
Honestly, it's more like it was a multi-part kind of plan. So, again, I think we'll do with I agree with the social media plan you guys are working on, and then also expanding it to the different DOE public schools, maybe high schools mainly. Going to there, having a booth set up. Maybe when they have like an assembly, we could show up and kind of talk about voting and why it's important, and maybe have guest speakers along with us. The other ideas were, I think Commissioner Bumanglag mentioned this before about inviting people, professionals on voting, people that know how the process works, and explain to students why it's important, and also explain to them who their current elected officials are. That way they know who represents them and what they believe in. But this is something we can discuss more, I guess, outside of the meeting to expand on it. Oh, okay, thanks.
I have a question. So I know Commissioner Moore mentioned it regarding a sort of resolution, but one of my state representatives is introducing a bill this session to expand voter education in the public school system, and I was wondering if we as a commission are allowed to like sign like a letter of support or possibly like testimony. I know there's like different rules because we are like a city commission, and that's kind of different from individuals.
That sounds like an Anthony question.
Yeah, just present it the same way you would a resolution, your testimony and support, and then if you guys all agree on that, you can submit it as a commission.
Thank you.
But yeah, but yeah, we'll discuss it more. I'll discuss it more with Commissioner Moore and the Civic Engagement PAG about my plans and their plans, and then we'll kind of merge it together again. And then I guess we'll have a presentation for February's meeting. Does that sound good, Ariana? I mean, Commissioner Moore, sorry. We can work together and then have like a presentation for next month.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we can get it like ready to go as soon as possible, that would be good.
Great, sounds good. I'll get in contact with you after about it. Any other thoughts or comments on a voting initiative? Okay, exciting stuff, people. Yeah. I'd hype you up. Anyway, thank you again. So, I guess seeing that, any objections to the proposal of having a voting initiative for this election year? Seeing none, let us vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay. Hearing none, this motion is adopted, and we'll work on having a voting initiative for this year. Okay, thank you, everyone. Now moving on to the proposal to adopt a new HYC logo. You should have the examples sent to you by email, or I think Ryan will pull it up real quick, and then we can view it. Is there a motion to vote to adopt a new HYC logo? Anybody can motion.
I motion to vote for you.
Thank you. Anybody second?
I second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any testimony? Hearing none. Commissioners, we are in discussion about these potential logos.
In my opinion, I like the first one because it looks more like youth, whereas the second picture with the silhouette, it kind of feels hard to tell if they're adults or actual children.
Yeah, I think it's based on the silhouette that was chosen for that.
I like the first one too, so
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Has more character in it.
I think we could portray ourselves a little bit better,
Yeah.
in my opinion. To me, it doesn't seem like, well, in my opinion, I think it's cute. But I think we could be portrayed better in a way that we can also be represented as Hawaii. Because a wave is a little bit stereotypical because we live on an island. We could use like our native animal, our native plants, or something else. Or like Oahu, and then we have children aligning it. Something like that. Other than that, it's cute. I agree.
Yeah, I feel like a logo is something where people look at, and then this is kind of what represents us as a whole, you know? So when somebody looks at a logo, it's like, okay, this is who we're, as like a youth commissioner, people look up to us and where we have a lot of influence. And so a logo, I feel like people nowadays, you know, are skeptical of a lot of things, you know, especially youth. And so when they look at our logo, I feel like they should have some sort of symbolism of like our professionality, if that's a word, you know, and like how professional we are and how like serious we're taking things. And so I think a logo should be reflective off of that, you know.
Any other comments or thoughts? I guess with what we have, we could, I guess, send it over to the department again and try to get another design rolling again for next month. Does anyone have any other ideas for this logo? I think we all agree that this one's the best one we have so far. But is there anything you guys want to see changed besides having a more kind of a Hawaii representation? If not, then I guess we'll just we'll go off what we have from Taimane and Melanie, and then kind of just see what they bring up. Yeah. Okay. I guess if you guys have any other ideas, just send it over to Ryan, and then he'll send it over to the department for ideas. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. I guess in that case, do we still vote? No. Should we just?
Yeah, I think you table it for next.
Okay. In that case, we'll be tabling this HYC logo to the February meeting. Everyone agree with that, right? Okay. Yes. Thank you. Great. Okay, moving on now to agenda item 7, new business. We are now in the new business. Proposed resolution 26-001, Commissioner Moore. You have the table.
Okay. Hi. So this resolution idea actually came from Ryan in an email to the Civic Engagement PIG initially. And I thought it was a super, super cool idea just because basically, well, okay, I'll go through this first. So it did come from Ryan, and I thought it was a really cool idea, and I wanted to write a resolution in favor of implementing something like this. And secondly, I would like to thank Anthony, who presented this to the managing director and who allowed us to make really great changes and stuff to this resolution, and ultimately helped really build it to what it is now. So I wanted to say thank you to both of them for that. But getting into it, essentially this resolution is in favor of urging the City Council to create a summer youth employment program that would allow for youth to get engaged in summer times in the professional sense. So the mission of a program like this is to develop the skills that are needed in the workforce, and also it would help economically disadvantaged youth in particular that we have here in Honolulu, and help equip them with the skills that they would end up needing later on. I think a program like this is ultimately really beneficial too, just because I think that you'll recognize that oftentimes in summers, youth are left not really doing much, whereas they could be spending their time doing something like this, which would ultimately contribute to a much more productive society and development of skills that will be needed throughout our lifetimes. And we also would like to note that there's the fact that property crime and ultimately violent crime decreases. And we've seen this type of model implemented in other major cities throughout the United States, including Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, Phoenix, and Los Angeles. And so the question that we are faced with today is, why not Honolulu? Because I think that implementing something like this would really be a positive step in the right direction. Ultimately, as a public high school student myself, I think that Hawaii can really benefit from having additional opportunities that are provided to students that are local, that help us succeed on a national scale when we see these type of programs throughout other major cities throughout the country. So I think having something like this in Honolulu would ultimately be beneficial. In terms of particular statistics, other summer youth employment programs resulted in a 9% increase in employment, a 30% increase in wages for opportunity youth aged 19 to 24, and ultimately increasing job readiness skills. And in addition to that, you're able to receive a reference for other opportunities that you'd want to pursue. And something like that is really important, serving as a strong stepping stone to the other goals that, the other wide variety of goals that students here may have. And in addition to the minimized crime rates and the increased employment rates and other benefits, we see that there is a 5 percentage point increase in the high school graduation rates due to better attendance and improved GPAs. So in addition to garnering additional work skills, we also see that there's an increase in the academic sense, which is just as important. And so we think that a program like this and allowing the city commission to introduce something like this would be ultimately beneficial in the long run. And one aspect that I did want to mention is that recently I met with Director Morton of the transportation system, Department of Transportation. And one thing that he had mentioned is that there's legislation to be introduced this legislative session that would allow for transportation to be free for youth. And I think that in changes like that that are happening within Oahu, well, actually that would end up being statewide, but I think with changes like that that are happening within our state, having something like this alongside it is ultimately a really good cohesive plan, because the students or the youth who are engaged in the SYEP program wouldn't have to worry as much about transportation or dependence on their parents to arrive to their workplaces in the summertime. So ultimately, it would be a really positive program and a really positive step in the right direction.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Moore. Sorry, I kind of skipped over the adoption part, so does anybody move that we adopt resolution 26001? Anybody?
I move to.
Thank you. Anybody second?
A second.
Great, multiple seconds. It's been moved and seconded. Commissioner Moore explained it, so any questions or for Commissioner Moore about her resolution?
Can I provide 30 seconds worth of context? Okay, so great job, Commissioner Moore, providing a summary of that. So in Boston, what they do is they essentially allow any student of a certain age to get a job, like anyone who applies. And so they have the mayor's support in Boston to do something like that. And then they have private, nonprofit partners. So, and then students can get a job with the city or with this, with nonprofit or with private, and they get this really important experience that Commissioner Moore pointed out. This resolution here is important, just showing that the youth think it's a good idea for the city to pursue something along these lines, and then that kind of support can go a long way down the line as we start to build this program out and look for more partners, etc.
Brian?
Yes.
I had a question. In those cities that already have a summer youth employment program, how much are those kids getting paid?
Minimum wage.
14?
Yes. Well, in Hawaii, I think it's $60.
Oh yeah, just went up. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah. So, you know, what this is just as much experience as it is, you know, income, and it allows them to get like a stepping stone for future job opportunities within the city, or to be able to put on their resume when they're applying for colleges. And not only that, the intangible of just having a different experience outside of what they normally might have for a summer. They get a job, they're exposed to different peer groups, and different opportunities show themselves to them for the very first time.
Oh, and then can I also just clarify my understanding of SYEP too? Because I know they have in Boston and New York City, but I never like understood like how it tangibly worked. So is it just like it consolidates the employment process for youth? Like, so for example, there's just like one application portal, and then like the city connects like the students with like people or like the different organizations.
Yeah, well, that's actually a really good question, Commissioner, because you know, the exact mechanisms of how they do it is complicated, and they have a huge one. They're doing 12,000, you know, hiring 12,000 students. What we're planning to try to do is work on a pilot project, so it starts off with a very limited number of people, so we can get it off the ground, and then you start to build that over time with success. There would be an application portal. People would apply. It'd be a certain amount of people that would actually get the job based off lottery or whatever it might end up being. We assign them to different departments, and then we're off from there. And then you kind of refine it as time goes on. You see what works, what didn't work.
Just to clarify, when Commissioner Moore, when you say that you're giving youth the opportunity to work more in a professional setting, that would mean like working like in the city council, or like what kind of department, and what exactly would they be like doing to help, you know?
Yeah, thanks for your question. So I think that in terms of the application, we would be able to, or I guess the city county would be able to get a better understanding of what each student or what each youth individual is good at. And with that, we'd then be able to place them in a role that would best suit them. So as Ryan said, this can range anywhere from working in a nonprofit to working in to working with a small business that ultimately helps benefit Hawaii's economy, right? So the idea of professional experience is that really you kind of get that from any job, because there are certain things that are expected of you. You're expected to be timely, you're expected to be able to fulfill the tasks of each day. And ultimately, any type of working experience that you receive can be put on your resume and can be viewed as a certain set of skills that you garnered from that experience that will serve you in any given role. So I think it's important to consider that there would be a range of opportunities and positions available to the youth, because not all individuals are created with the same exact skill set. Some would thrive in different environments.
Okay, any other questions from the commissioners? So you mentioned any age, Ryan, or did you mean like?
It's just 19 to 24.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say okay.
There will be some limitations, and
yeah.
you know, Anthony, you want to chime in? Let them know.
We're still, we would have to look into what is legal to do in the state. But ideally, and what a lot of other cities have done, high school age and early college, so 16 to, I think we said 24 on that? Yeah, something like that.
Great. Any other questions? No? Okay. Seeing none, let us vote. Those in favor of, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Hearing none, resolution 26-001 is passed. Congrats. Moving on to agenda item 7, new business proposed resolution 26-002. Commissioner Moore, once again, does anybody move to adopt this resolution?
Oh wait, I think we decided that we were going to kind of internally resolve it more, because I had met with the director of the Department of Transport, and I think there are a few things that need to be smoothed over before we determine if it would be dilatory to move forward with this resolution in particular. Is that right, Ryan?
Okay, got it. In that case, we will shelve this resolution for February's meeting. We'll move on to the next proposed resolution, 26-003, Commissioner Chong. Does anybody move to adopt a resolution encouraging support for the Department of Parks and Recreation to enable enhanced park, bench, and table cleaning? Any motion to adopt it? Thank you. Anybody second?
I second.
Thank you. It's moved and seconded. Commissioner Chung for the explanation.
So this resolution would aim to have a greater priority on cleaning park benches and tables at parks that are unstaffed, or parks, especially in West Oahu, that experience from a lot of locals a higher volume of trash and problems in regards to the benches. So yeah, this resolution specifically would aim to have the Department of Parks and Recreation further collaborate with nonprofit groups like 808 Cleanup, which they've already been doing, but kind of have a higher focus on the park benches and tables, and to also increase funding for staffing at unstaffed or understaffed parks that experience these issues with the cleanliness of the park benches and tables. And it would also urge the Department of Parks and Recreation to kind of streamline a lot of the hiring and vacancy filling options to have a more long-term view on this issue.
Thank you, Commissioner Chung. Is there any testimony? Seeing none, commissioners, we are in discussion. Any questions for Commissioner Chung? Okay, well, in that case, we will move on to
Sorry, I
Yes,
do
thank
have
you.
one question. So would it be that the Honolulu Youth Commission is pledging to attend a certain number of these cleanup programs, or?
It's more of the youth commission collectively urging the Department of Parks and Recreation to like have more permanent staffing at some parks that are experiencing a lot of complaints with the cleanliness of park benches and tables. And it's also for the Honolulu Youth Commission to help publicize any volunteer cleanup opportunities regarding the cleanup of parks and benches.
Oh, okay.
I did talk to I think it was the director of the Department of Parks and Recreation about creating like a separate initiative to have schools in public schools in their districts to all visit a park together and clean up a park collectively. That isn't something that I've included in this resolution specifically.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Moore. Any other questions for Commissioner Chung? Last call. Great. Seeing none. Are there any objections? Oh, sorry. What is this? Yep. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Let us vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Hearing none, resolution 26-003 is passed. Congrats. We continue in new business, a proposal related to disaster preparedness, PIG, Commissioner Rader.
I move that the Honolulu Youth Commission approves $750 for the first quarter budget for disaster preparedness clinic and art contest.
Great. Does anybody move that motion to move it?
Can I just ask a clarifying question? Because I
Yes.
wasn't really here, but could you clarify the art contest for me?
So I think we have to move it first, and then I can explain more about the budget proposal.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
We'll get to the explanation once
Okay.
someone just moves it. Okay, thank you. Anybody second?
I'll second.
Great, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Commissioner Rader for the explanation.
Okay, yeah, so to kind of just start off first, at last month's meeting, we voted on establishing a disaster preparedness PIG. Dr. Collins, who's the director for the Department of Emergency Management, had also, gave like a presentation to all of us last month too. But I guess like the main reasons for the establishment of a disaster preparedness is again, of course, to have a more prepared city and county of Honolulu. If you looked back at like a lot of the events that happened last year, there was a lot of fires, especially on West Oahu, everything that happened with the tsunami, and just like all of the traffic that kind of that came about with it, and all of like the panic. I guess I kind of really wanted to start this PIG so that of course we can really be more proactive as a city and county when it comes to these things. And when I've also talked with Dr. Collins and DM more privately and individually, I guess a lot of the things that we kind of brought up is also the lack of youth engagement in disaster preparedness. So it's through my hope with the disaster preparedness PIG that, as I mentioned earlier, we can make a more prepared city and county of Honolulu, and one where our youth really takes the lead with it. And in terms of the budget allocation of $750, I think first off it's a bit difficult to kind of, I guess, make an itemized breakdown of our budget now if we kind of don't really understand, I guess how much we can actually really get. Because I remember in the past there was talks about getting a tablecloth and whatnot, but that was kind of pushed to the side. So we kind of asked for a humble $750, just so it helps us to better figure out an itemized breakdown to possibly propose to all of you next month, so you just have a clearer picture of how we're actually spending our budget. But in terms of the disaster preparedness clinic, and let me just start off with the art contest, since that's what you mentioned first. So with the art contest, we're still working on the technicalities of it, and we are planning to meet next month as well. But the art contest is really to just, I guess, to just get more youth involved in actually learning more about the content of disaster preparedness and education, since DOE doesn't have a formal disaster education unlike other states and countries. And also hopefully we can use some of their artwork to utilize for maybe our social media or other things like I guess like coloring books and whatnot, or to help with content with the Department of Emergency Management, their social media too. And whereas with the disaster preparedness clinic, our idea with the disaster preparedness clinic, there's kind of like two different ones. Like one is, we're still kind of like narrowing down a venue, but like basically kind of like, it's kind of like a fair where there's like different disaster preparedness organizations are like able to like come and like teach people about like disaster preparedness and education, or just take back like at least one skill with them so that they're like more prepared. And like the second one was also just to kind of like, I guess it works similar to how like, cause there's like a lot of different content that's like out there to help families be prepared for like disaster preparedness. So for example, one is like a communication plan is also like working with families to kind of just do like one thing. But I guess the main key takeaway is to, you know, just educate people more about disaster preparedness.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Rader, is any testimony? If none, commissioners, we are in discussion. Any questions for Commissioner Rader?
So, like, what are the possible venues you think we can host this clinic at?
Okay. I guess like, okay, because we also talked about at the meeting. I don't know, because I remember you had left early, but like we talked about and then I'm so sorry. I'm still trying to set up like the email for you guys to also vote on it too. But it was Honolulu Hale, Winter Community College, Castle High School. We were also thinking about Key Project and also maybe the Community Learning Center at Mo'ili. We were planning, I guess again, like finalizing the details within, my idea was to finalize the details within the PAG and then contact Ryan Moore so that we can further finalize logistics so we can get the ball rolling.
I had a question about the art contest. So are you gonna be asking them to like buy their own supplies and to bring their already pre-made art, or are you gonna be giving out like a canvas with like watercolors, pencils, or stuff like that? Because depending on that, then that would depend on like the amount of money you need.
I guess for like the art contest, we're still figuring out more of like the logistics for it. But in terms of like the budget allocation, I was thinking of more as like prizes that we could help give out to them, even if it's something small.
For the art contest, were you thinking of having like a final like ceremony to congratulate the winners? Because I know that's also another expense to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think like also like printing is like certificates too.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably ask quotes from Ryan, but then like, yeah. Or I guess I kind of just wanted to see like what we could get in terms of the budget, because I wasn't really sure like if other people were also like proposing something for like this first quarter too. But I mean, like, I think it would be a good idea to kind of have like a final ceremony, or at least like have certificates. Mm-hmm. Then I think like the average printing cost, as it like sounded like from the past, and like it was like $40 for like a certain X amount from the city print shop. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really expect that like printing would be like a big allocation for it.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner.
Oh, and then I guess this is just like a suggestion, but I think it would be nice to like when it's done and like you have all the artwork printed to like exhibit it up here at Honolulu College, because I've done that before with the previous art contest I helped organize.
Yeah, I like that idea too.
Commissioner.
Oh, I was just wondering how you were gonna pick the 3 winners. Like, are you gonna create like a form of all the people who submitted art, and then you would have whoever scans the QR code to vote? Or are you gonna have like a line of judges being like, for example, your pig group as the judges? Or are you gonna have like, for example, maybe some of your guest speakers to be the judges?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in terms of like logistical wise and choosing like who the winners are, that's something we're still working on and that like we're hoping to also talk about with Ryan first. I think I mainly just wanted to put this as an agenda item to make sure that we could at least secure a subliminal amount of funding for like what we wanted to do.
Any other questions for Commissioner Rader?
For the clinic, is it mostly geared towards like youth or like kind of the broader community?
Youth and the broader community.
Okay, any other questions? One more time.
Would you think for the art contest to have a cash prize? Is that what you mean?
I don't know if we have enough money in our budget for like a cash prize, cause like I think the allocation is $2,500 per quarter. So then like, I mean cause we're still thinking about like what the age range would be too, and then like if we're like taking the whole 2,500, we also have to take into account like printing for like things like the newsletter, and then also like verification for like the meta or whatever. So I'm not 100% sure how much would even be left in our budget for us to like allocate it toward our disaster preparedness PIG within the first quarter, so that we would have enough money for those cash prizes. I guess like I was thinking about, cause like I know like with other art contests, for example, like there was one that Kapolese Lights would always do annually. They would just have like a table full of like a bunch of like different small prizes for like the kids. So I was thinking something kind of like that.
Or I mean, even just like honoring their artwork, like putting it in the hallway or something.
Yeah.
That would already be a really nice prize, I think. You know?
Or do you think that maybe we could do gift cards or something like that? Because I think if it's youth, I think like if I were 7, I would be very happy to receive a Jamba gift card or something like that. But I was thinking that if you're to make it like an all age, like a project open to all ages, do you think that at any point it might become unfair to any like super young participants competing against someone who's significantly older and significantly more skilled? Or like, was there an intentional reason for having it be all ages aside from inclusivity?
Oh, I guess my idea would to have it as like categories, maybe by like age group, so it's also more fair. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I guess like in terms of like gift cards, I also wasn't sure if like it was like what the legalities were in terms of like asking for donations to, or like asking for like certain businesses to partner with us, and maybe they could also donate some of the prizes as well.
Great. Any other questions? Last time. Okay, so seeing none, let us vote. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Hearing none, $750 for the first quarter budget for the disaster preparedness clinic and art contest will be appropriated as said, and is passed. Great, okay. Congrats. Something to win. Okay. And now we continue in new business, a proposal relating to the food bank. Does anybody? Oh shoot, okay. Okay, we're gonna be tabling that for the February meeting. That is Chair Shimizu's proposal. Continuing new business, and a decision on whether to hold an off-site meeting for February. Anybody motion to do as such? Thank you. Anybody second? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Ryan Wilson for the explanation.
Okay, so up to you guys if you want to have another safari or adventure. Couple potential options are Blaisdell Exhibition Hall. It was recently renovated, like really cool space. Behind the scenes, behind the curtains, they made some really huge modifications to be able to accommodate a lot of these Broadway productions that come into town. And that's a big deal for actually attracting these shows. And so it was really cool to see that. McCoy Pavilion has recently been renovated over at Ala Moana. Honolulu Zoo is always a favorite. I'm not sure about the hours, but we'll figure that out if we could actually do it after hours. The Honolulu Fire Department Museum is right over here at HFD headquarters, and they have really old equipment, like the different apparatuses that they used to use, including like an old wagon that they would drag with like hoses that would, to different brush fires and stuff like that. And then they also have one of the vehicles that they used, I believe, to respond to Pearl Harbor attack, which is really interesting. Honolulu Police Department, also just right down the road. Really interesting. They have a whole bunch of museum stuff as well, different artifacts and whatnot. All-White Golf Course is another one. They recently reopened the driving range that's there. Royal Hawaiian Band headquarters. They have their very first home ever in their history, and this is down in Waikiki Vista, just a couple blocks away from here, maybe 10-minute drive. Now they have this like beautiful rehearsal hall with cold wood, and they can actually have a place to gather and practice. And then they have like this wall that's set up with all of the history of the Royal Hawaiian Band. I can't speak right now. With all of the different people who founded it or played a really important role. And so it's really educational to go down there and see that. And then this last one is for those of you who are brave, but the Sand Island wastewater treatment plant is like an engineering marvel. It's really incredible how much wastewater they treat every single day. And it's something that is overlooked a lot when it comes to the importance of that function to the city and county. There's no single emergency in a household like a plumbing emergency. And so for the city to be operating that is really important. So it's really educational to go down there. So those are just a couple items for you, or locations, potential locations for all of you to consider if we want to explore. And we could do the same kind of thing we did last time where we tier it, say, okay, maybe this one second, and maybe this one third, however you want to do that.
Thanks, Ryan. We're on discussion now. Any thoughts, input?
I think it would be good to go to the Honolulu Fire Department, especially with like
250 use.
I was gonna say with what Mayor Blangiardi put, like the first thing I saw was about the fire department, and that just kind of moved me to want to go today.
I also agree with Taimani there because it's also the 250th anniversary of the 175th. Sorry, a little bit too much. Oh, U.S. Sorry, I was thinking of the U.S. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's the 175. So that could be something that could be interesting, and maybe we could invite Chief Hal to maybe talk to us a little bit. Any other thoughts?
I mean, it would be cool to go to the Royal Hawaiian Band HQ too. That's true. I mean, the way that you described it was very enticing.
No, like, not like right by, but like, it's close.
I'm one of the other ones I was interested in was I'd like to see the wastewater treatment plant. I don't know how you guys think, but I think that's pretty cool to see the inside of that. I think we'll have to wear hard hats, I'm assuming. No? If you went inside. But I think it'll be cool to see that process because,
I agree. It's cool to see like how we're trying to retreat Sand Island with how much it's been polluted.
Wait, Kalena, did you say LOI? Like the LOI ballrooms?
No, like Royal Hawaiian Band, like the HQ is close to Aloha. Because it's like close to Iolani, so I pass by a lot.
I see.
Okay, so far we have HFD and Royal Hawaiian Band, maybe the water treatment. Does anyone have any other input?
Has anybody been to the McCoy Pavilion? I've never been, but I'm just trying to like, figure out, is it cool?
I have not, but one of our...
Is that the one in the middle of the park?
Heard of it.
Yes, I believe so. So our Department of Parks and Recreation, PIO, was like, oh, you guys gotta go here because it's really recently renovated. So it was just one of the options. I haven't seen it, so I can't advocate as enticingly as I did for Royal Hawaiian Band headquarters.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Okay. Well, it seems like.
As far as tennis courts at Magic Island.
Okay. I don't hear much excitement for that one, so I guess we'll put that on the side. But any other ideas? If anything, we'll go with the, I guess, HFD and Royal Hawaiian Band. Seems to be the top two.
No waste treatment.
And waste treatment. We'll put that in 3 if we want to. Does anybody have any thoughts? Or other ideas? Any other locations that ring to the mind?
Wait, Ryan, what will we do at the Alawai Ballroom? Did I make that up or?
Well,
There's the Alawai golf course.
It's actually, so there is a ballroom that's there right above the clubhouse at the Alawai golf course. So you're not far off. And so that's like an actual room. I'm not sure if we would actually be able to get inside the room because there's reservations and other people use it for ballroom dancing, among other things. But Alawai golf course is just interesting because it's one of the most heavily popular, heavily used golf courses on the island. It's a city function. It's one of the few city, there's 6 of them, 6 golf courses, but it's one of the few city functions that actually brings revenue into the city, so it's a money-making venture for us. Serves the community, serves a whole bunch of junior golfers, and then they've just renovated the driving range that's there. And so that was a big deal because a lot of people use the driving range as well.
I advocate for that. That seems cool. And I think it's interesting to see like the way that the economic revenue comes from a different perspective. And I think that recognizing that our budget PIG hasn't met, I think it would be a good opportunity for us to learn more about it too.
Wait, if we went to the golf course, would it just be like a tour or would we be golfing? Genuine question.
That's a good question. I can see about tea times. I don't know. I think we just have to sign up like regular humans, but I don't actually know how golf works because I don't golf. Do you know? Are you a golfer?
I do know how golf works. Yeah.
What happens? I don't know what you do.
I'll explain later.
But you know, if you guys have, we could talk to the folks who run it. You know, if we're all gathered there as a group, it has to be a public thing, so we have to tell the public we're gonna be there. But we could try to set up like a driving range night, you know, if you guys bring your clubs and we hit a couple of golf balls. It'd be fun.
If you have clubs.
If you have clubs.
Clubs are expensive.
What's that?
Too small. I had them for like when I was a kid.
You know what? Just lean over a little bit.
I have the plastic one.
The plastic.
Okay.
Too hard.
So that's number 4?
I guess yeah, we'll put that in the 4th option 2.
How would we just like do that like in order of preference
Yeah.
so you can see like which one has like the most availability, like as it does for.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. HFD. I think. What do y'all think? 1, 2, 1. Yes. 5.
Wait.
Well, first place. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. First
I was
place.
looking
Okay.
at it.
And then what was it? The Royal Hawaiian Band. I guess. What do you guys think? Second. Second. Yeah. Okay. And then the wastewater plant. Do we want that in 3 or do we want the Alawai golf course in 3?
Golf course.
Okay. Okay. We'll do the golf course in 3 and then the wastewater in 4. Sound good? Sound good? Great. I can, that's it? Okay. Good. Thank you, Ryan. Okay. Now we'll be voting on, I guess we'll, do we vote? I guess we'll vote. We'll just vote. Do we vote? Vote for the, I guess, meeting. I don't know if we have to vote.
I think we should.
Nah, you're good.
Only vote. Okay, only vote. Great. Now moving on to agenda item 9, announcements. We will be skipping agenda item 8, the future agenda items, because there is nothing to discuss. And moving on to announcements, the next meeting will be held on February 17th at 5:30 p.m. at one of the 4 locations that we have there. And resolutions and documents are due a week before the meeting. Moving on to adjournment. Anybody?
I move that the commission stand adjourned until February 7th.
Thank you. Anybody second? Great. If no objections from the commission is present, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Commissioner Morris. I'll be on the side. Thank you.
Bye, guys.